to Divine Horses and Humans. I'm Joseph J. Divine, and you are in the Palida playlist. So, dyslexic time is 6:45 in the AM on the 12th of June 2025. So, if you think you're coming here for me to teach you something and for you to learn something, and you're going to see visual cues and aids, and this episode's not about that. This episode is literally about doing nothing. There's a huge value in doing nothing with a horse. And the more you do this, right, the more the relationship is going to blossom or change, right? Because I have no tools, no aids. It's just me and Palida. As you can see, right, she's quite relaxed, her eyes quite shut. She's put me on her right side, so that's where I'm going to let her be, because what we have to remember through all of this, right, you have to train two sides of a horse. You have to teach two sides of a horse to make a whole horse, right? Because they're a flight animal, and they are loaded with this thing called cortisol, okay? Right? So you need to go and understand cortisol, right? How it affects human beings, right? And how it affects horses. And horses can pick up, horses know what you know before you even know it. And it's all to do with cortisol. Yeah, they can smell it, or they can hear your heart rate excel because your blood pressure's gone up, etc. But there's a value in doing nothing with a horse. And this is another thing. Very hard for human beings to do nothing. Why is that? Because we've been all programmed in this way of growing up, that you've got to be doing something, you've got to be getting better at it, you've got to be going forward at it, and it's about getting the qualification, the ribbon, the trophy, because we're predators, right? And they're a prey animal. We are the ultimate predator. So, if you go and observe horses and watch horses, right, you'll see horses do a lot of this, just standing around doing nothing. But there's something in it. And she's nodding off there. Have you ever had that friend in your life that they can come round your house or wherever and you can just sit there, nothing has to be said. Nothing has to be said. See, by me moving around, I'm not doing nothing, am I? I'm doing something. And that's the thing. It's very hard for us to keep our feet still. But what you'll watch is horses will do an awful lot of that. And it's like, because the way that we see it is a horse's main thing, a horse's main perspective in its whole life is survival. Right? That is all they're worried about, is surviving. They're not worried so much about feed and all that. They know all of that turns up. But the survival side of it is hugely important. So when everybody's standing still, and that's where I should be doing is standing still, everybody's like, okay, nobody's going to die at the moment. We've got nothing to worry about. everything's fine. So you see them all there and their heads are down and they're sort of sleeping off. And then somebody's head goes up and they're like, and then everybody goes up. And if that somebody's like, oh, I don't understand what that horse is like, I'm off, I'm going. Cortisol, sympathetic nervous system. And that's how you can use that to your huge advantage, because there's this hole in the British equine industry, on the business side of it and the domestic side of it and the sports side of it, where that's not being taken into consideration, because they put all of these false values. Oh, it's because they're excited. He's just a forward-going horse. It's BS. It's cortisol, the sympathetic nervous system kicking in of survival. And like I said, and this is my line of thinking, they're a prey animal, we're the ultimate predator. So you'll get people just dominating them, because a human being can dominate another human being and bully another human being. Believe me, an awful lot of that goes on in the British equine industry. They broke me mentally. They helped push me into a mental breakdown, because I just felt that I wasn't valued. I was just there for brute force and ignorance, or to fix things when they got broken. But if I got something fixed with a horse, circus tricks, you're doping them, you're hypnotising, look into my eyes. But the one thing that so many of these human beings don't understand, they're working on horses on the ground, and this is where we believe there's a huge hole in the industry. There isn't a thing, none of these horses have got foundations in them, and I've worked with hundreds of horses, if not thousands of them, all on the ground. Worked in the industry for a decade, 11 years, no longer will, because it's just dangerous. It's just dangerous, and I'm not prepared to be spoken to or treated in the way that they speak to me and they treat me. Because if they can speak to you like that and they can treat you like that, that's what you will see when they're on horseback, okay? And then somebody comes along by me that can get something resolved that no one else can get resolved, and do it in a very short period of time, and they can't understand why. And the reason that they can't understand why is because they don't throw into the equation that all they see me doing is a job, right? And it's got to be done by this time, and you need to be here by this time, this, that, and the other. Not that I'm actually building a relationship with these horses that I'm having to move around and work, turn out, bring back in, catch this, that, and the other. Because one thing I would do, I would always take a moment like I'm taking now. Wherever we were going, whatever we were doing. So, for example, horse walkers. I don't believe in horse walkers. I think they drive horses bonkers. But it's a necessary evil in it. And so I'd take a horse from a box, go and put it on a horse walker, and before I walked onto the horse walker, I'd just take a moment and just stand there and just see like what frame of mind the horse is in. Okay, we've got this, so we go in there. I'd stand in there for a bit with them, and then I'd go off, get another one. You know, we used to put 3 in. But all of those little micro sessions of doing nothing start to accumulate into a lot of something. So if you add minutes, you get hours, and if you add hours, you get days, and if you add days, you get weeks, and if you add weeks, you get months, right? So you see how she's just looked at me because I moved my feet, right? And she's like, oh, right, where are you going? Right now, look, she's come more open-eyed. She's a little bit like over there, because But you'll see a lot of times one horse will be looking over there, one horse will be looking over there, and one horse will be looking over there. But see, she comes back again because everything means something. She's lowered her head a little bit because she's like, all right, we're not going to die. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing here. Because the other part of all this is your mindset. The mindset part of it is huge. Not talked about enough. You need to go and understand how your sympathetic nervous system works, and you need to go and understand how a horse's sympathetic nervous system works. And you need to go and understand cortisol, the flight, freeze or fight hormone. You need to go and understand that to be able to get a better relationship, a better understanding of horses. And a better understanding of how that thing cortisol turns up in your body and how horses can pick up on it. Because that's like Mother Nature has put it into them and gone, when you feel that feeling, when cortisol turns up, you just leave. You do not ask questions, you just leave. So here in the British equine industry, they will use everything in their power to stop a horse from moving its feet. Because it's a flight animal. And if you can't catch your horse, right, and you're having to hem them in to catch them, and then somebody's getting on their back, it's going to end up in trouble because you're stealing a ride off that horse, because that horse is like, I don't trust any of you. It's not just going out, and I've said this before, not going out of its way to be belligerent, it's not going out of its way to be ignorant, they're not out in the field going, here, tomorrow should we run around so they can't catch us, yeah, just to have a go. No, don't do that. They're a flight animal. You're a predator. You're an A-class predator. And it's primal. It's in deep, and I don't care if you go, oh no, I'm a vegetarian, I'm a vegan, you're primal. You are, first off, a predator, and predatory nature is in you. That is why man is so good at war and shit at peace. Because of the predatory, the tribal thing, the whole, my gang's stronger. That's why you've got all these issues going on, and then that's where horse people, British equine horse people, go to war with horses. Because they can't see the value in doing something like I'm doing right now with you. Because there'll be people now that have logged off of this, moved on, and if you're still here, you're serious about trying to understand more about horses. Because that's the thing, there's an in-depth side of it that everybody overlooks because it's boring, it's slow, it doesn't really mean because we're not doing anything, but there's a huge value to it. Huge value. And I said, I haven't touched her, I've left her again, she wants to hang on the gate, that's fine, she can see her pals over there, that's fine. You know, and I'm not going to make it all about me. I'm trying to make this about us, relationship, a partnership. Like I said earlier, if you've got that friend that comes around that you could just sit there, you don't even have to talk to each other, but there's something in it, right, that makes you feel, oh, I feel quite at ease myself, you know, but you don't even have to talk. The value of doing nothing. So if you can do that with a human being, why can't you do that with a horse? No, because you're too much of a straight line thinker, and you want the ribbon, the rosette, the trophy, the tournament. You don't understand about how your mentality and your adrenaline, your attitudes, your cortisol pushes off into the horse. Because you're just doing it the same as everybody else, because you don't understand the value of doing nothing, first off. Many years ago when I stepped into the polo world, yeah, that's right, you heard right, the polo world. I went and worked with a professional polo player, South American polo player, quite a soft horseman compared to what a lot of them are in South America. And the one thing he said to me, I'd only worked for him for 3 days, and he was like, oh, we need to talk, we need to have a conversation. And I was like, okay, what's the problem? And he's like, the problem is you. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you run around like headless chicken. And he said to me, we are not on British horse yard. Slow down, relax. It hasn't all got to be done by 10 o'clock. It hasn't, just, but I need you to relax because you're making the horses tense. And I was like, right, okay. And he was like, you're a really good guy and I really believe in your skill set. I've never seen anything like it before. And my horses tell me you're a good guy, but you need to learn to relax. And that was 2014, so 11 years ago. So I've worked, I've been in and out of horses since 2009. So worked, well, there you go. So you do the maths, I'm not, because I can't. But it's trying to look for things that most people won't even see. Like this horse has got more level-headed. And as I said, if I walk off, she should sort of pay attention. But this is the thing, this is about there. See, she looks at me through her left eye. Right? Ears like moving around, so that's like a radar. But there's a huge value in this. I've done this with so many horses that I've had, not I've had problems with, but they've got problems with other human beings. And those human beings are making that horse's problem even bigger because they're putting human values and emotions, and they're scared of the horse. Yeah, they're scared of this particular horse. So cortisol turns up, fear. And when fear turns up, that's when horses get a little bit jiggy and a little bit, I've got to get out of here, I've got to get away from you because like you're a predator because you've got your eyes in the front of your head and I'm a prey and everything Mother Nature's put in me says I need to get away from you. I don't trust you. And so there goes her head again. So there's a huge value in it. Don't ever underestimate doing nothing. One of the other things, if you've got a horse, our own horse or whatever, but sit outside their stable when they eat. On a box, outside the stable. You're sort of becoming like part of the herd. And like as I said, the other thing, go observe horses. Go watch horses in herds on YouTube. Go and watch your horses interact with other horses. Go and work out who's the lead one, who's the dominant one, who's the submissive one, who's doing what, who's pushing who around. And go and watch how they communicate with each other, because they don't communicate with each other by verbal. It's all done by, like I said, if I move away from her again, right, she should have a look. There you go. So she looked to me in the left eye because I've gone across that point here, that there's this blind spot, so she knows I'm going to come out this side. There you go, see? So she gives me two eyes, and I just walk away from her. So that one, I'm going to do the whole like, comment, share, subscribe and all that. Run and tell a friend. Check out the content bar. You'll find some goodness and some niceness down there. Thanks for checking us out. Don't forget to go and check out our other channel. And yeah, the value of doing nothing is huge. So check out future episodes, past episodes, and we'll catch you all in the next episode. Cheers.